All right, there we go, folks. Welcome on back here this Monday morning, April 10th. All of our cyber traders inside our live trading room, and for all of us live on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc. Great to have all of us here joining us, though. Michael, Grant, Lawrence, we have Ray, had later just before, Andrea, and all of us inside our live trading room. Great to have all of us back here. So, hope everybody enjoyed their Easter. Hope everyone's still enjoying their Passover, nonetheless. And with that, it's been an interesting end of the week from last week because we had a bunch of big runners that we ended up capitalizing on, right? But the market was like kind of choppy. It was a bit of a tight market heading into the holiday weekend. And with that, I want to show you what's happening this morning. So let me paste this SPY chart here just on my screen to begin. Kind of just show this just to begin here, folks. Now you could see heading into the end of last week, nice little recovery, right, from Friday. But with that, though, wiping out all of those gains just right away early in pre-market this morning. SPY chart. This is an ETF that tracks the S&P 500. Very well known, but for those that are unfamiliar, this is basically how you can kind of track the stock market. There are other ETFs, there are indexes, tickers actually that track an index as a whole. SPX.X obviously for the S&P, but for SPY here, just hey, showing pre-market activity, you see the drop off right away. So what's happening this week, folks? For anyone that's at least in the know right now, anything big this week happening that you're familiar with? You should hear. We were kind of talking about it from last week, saying, hey, for such a tight market, you would have expected for this to have been last week, not actually this upcoming week. But anybody know inside our live trading room? Or on social, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc. Ray and Alex, a couple of our longtime students here. Great to see them answering, and Mark as well answering as well. The CPI report is coming up this week, Mark. So as far as the FOMC, I got to double check on that. I don't think the FOMC meeting is this week, but I definitely know the CPI report is, though. So I believe, what is that going to be, on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken? That could even be tomorrow morning, perhaps. The weekday I'm unsure on, but I definitely know this week is the CPI, the inflationary report. So with that, could be a tight market leading into the pre-market before those numbers are announced. Andrea is saying not Tuesday, the 11th, but Wednesday, the 12th, to be exact. So I'll take his word for it. One of our longtime students, my friend, of course, here. So Wednesday, the 12th, we'll do that in the morning, probably that'll come out like at 8:30 Eastern time, I'd imagine. And then from there, going into the morning meeting. Now, though, just otherwise, for all of us in social media here, Fausto's actually going to be on vacation, or he is on vacation, rather, this whole week. So you got me tagging in from here in the mornings. Actually, I'm going to be doing his introductory to trading webinar that he normally does each and every week. We're going to look to do that, I believe, on Thursday. So stay tuned for that. Michael says PCE also, I believe. Oh, I'm certain there's like other numbers out there that like could make a small little pop here or there, but it's mainly about like the FOMC meetings. If you want to slip in the minutes meetings in there, and like the smaller ones in between, and then otherwise the CPI report. Those to me are like the big ones to work off of. All right, so with saying that, at least, I mean, SPY dropping off already, so perhaps some advanced selling heading into the report coming in on Wednesday morning there. Now, with that, though, it's been a pretty fun pre-market already, especially for a Monday. You normally wouldn't expect for there to be as much out there company-wise heading into the beginning of the week or heading into the very end of the week. Of course, there could be anything market-related that, shakes things up. But ONCS, nice little pop early. It came off of some sort of news, and I'll jump to that in just a moment here. But at first, on a stock like this, take a look at the daily chart, and you'll see one thing is like, this stock has been a historical pop and drop stock in the past. So let me double check here. I thought I posted the news inside our chat board. I guess I didn't think it was even significant enough for me to do that. Just one moment here. Of course, Benzinga taking a second or two to reload. All good there. But ONCS, if I can't get it here, I'll get it on my other screen. ONCS shares are trading higher after the company announced it is seeking withdrawal of its registration statement. That's all I got on it. So I didn't want to like talk out of pocket and say, oh, I know more about. I don't. And it's to say that, hey, we don't trade the news. We trade the big money. We trade the order flow, the momentum ultimately. So on that, it actually led for a nice entry off the pop, but then on a pullback, actually, that was where I ended up jumping in. So that was one of two trades I was able to get money off of early this morning. In from 182, we were calling that out as a potential support, broke under and over, led to a move up towards 2. I got out like under 2, I think at 197, just to take some money and run. Built up a little cushion amount early this morning to peel back the curtain a bit. I didn't know that we were going to get as good of a move on not only on this, but on the JFBR also, the GFAI, a couple of these early in pre-market. But I'm tagging in for Fausto this week. I knew I wouldn't have as much time early this morning to do my prep work like right now. So, we talk a lot about that in our classes. So with saying that, I got to make a little money early. And that's what I ended up doing early this morning. Didn't jump in off the big move up at first, but was able to get some support entry off of this. So, heading into the market open now, it's not looking nearly as good. Lower highs, filling in sideways a bit. We don't trade the news necessarily. So actually, I'll say we don't trade the news at all. So with saying that, I mean, if it's making lower highs, don't be surprised if it ends up snapping lower prior to the open even on this trade. It's up a lot. It does have a relatively good order book. So maybe I'll kind of slip this just on our list here to begin. It'll probably be near the middle, near the end, at the end of it all. I always like to kind of categorize our list based off the stocks I feel that could, do the best for us at some point throughout the day, perhaps the morning mainly, but otherwise the ONCS, it could be that stock, but just right now direction here isn't looking as good. So with that though, there's a couple of other trades that we did well on from this morning early. What we'll do is just go from top to bottom. I had mentioned that there's a couple of stocks from the end of last week that I wanted to perhaps go over here if we have time or if we see them here. So perhaps FRC and the AI trade mainly, right? And AMC perhaps too. That I was trading a lot of volume this morning in pre-market. So let's go over a couple of these. PLXP up big in pre-market. Normally, we don't trade these stocks below $1 unless if they're like, right there near $1 to where more eyes can catch on to the trade. More scans start popping it up on their radar. This, I mean, hey, it's up big, but otherwise, we're going to be inclined to follow, other stocks out there. Hey, JFBR, look at this, over $1. It was below $1 before, this morning. So beautiful move. Definitely popped up on more of our radars. Obviously, the top percent gainers list here, if anything, making a strong move back up again. I was calling out support on this off of 125 to 127. I ended up taking a penny and a half loss on the first entry. Then on the second entry, I was able to get like 6 or 7 cents, somewhere of that nature. So, moving back up again, I'm not in it now, but at this point, it's been doing us pretty nicely and definitely showing good direction here. So JFBR for right now, definitely going to put back on our list here for right now, looking pretty good. Nice order book. Let me actually bring up level 4 right now while I'm at it. I was going to take a quick water break there, but you can see that actually 140 is a critical level. 27,000 plus share buy print getting filled, or at least print filled at the ask. And just a moment ago, a big iceberg order for about 29,000 shares ended up just getting pulled from the book. This just got pulled right now. You could tell based off the color layout. It broke over this price level after this order ended up getting mainly pulled. So, with saying that, I'd still be a little careful here on this JFBR. But if it ends up really continuing to pop from right here, looks like your next major level would be right off of 171 for about, 79,000 shares on the offer right now. Yeah, right about 78,000 plus shares at 171. All right. Yeah, so JFBR is looking pretty great here. So, I'll put this on our list with the ONCS. Well, timed water break with that. And we keep it going here, folks. The GCTK trade. Now, this was more of a dud after 8 o'clock. It was kind of flat in pre-market. It was holding its own maybe. I thought there was a chance there, it could maybe pop higher, but obviously ended up pulling back as soon as the pre-market opened for trade station at 8 o'clock. Support should turn into resistance. So saying that 171, 175-ish definitely should be that level coming up ahead. It still has a ways to go before testing that price, but hey, showing good activity, good order book, kind of like the JFBR for right now. So I'll put this back on our list for the meantime. All right, yeah, that JFBR having a tough time with the 140. ARVL, I didn't even mean to click on this, 15 cents. Can't do anything with that. Now, GFAI, this is one from last week, not really the end of last week, but it was more from like just kind of Tuesday, Wednesday, where it ended up exploding. You could just see from the daily chart here. So we ended up trading this move mainly from this larger green candle. It was early in pre-market. We were able to capitalize on it early in the morning. We, as in not me, I personally did not trade this day, just to peel back the curtain. Not going to lie and tell you, like, I killed it. A bunch of our traders did at least. I sat on the sidelines for the stock. A couple of these other AI trades were a little bit more liquid and making a better move or as good of a move. BBAI, SOUN, obviously, whoops. Obviously, at first, before the SEC note came out later in the week, the AI trade itself, it was pretty interesting to see this dump off early prior to 8 a.m. And the GFAI trade was like running up pretty much at the same time. Obviously, since it dumped off. So, yeah, for right now, GFAI, it's up over 20% early. I guess I'll slip it on our list, kind of like similar situation as ONCS. Even worse, actually. It's just a really bad spread stock, bad order book. So, as a newly enrolled student, you go through our classes and that this is not the type of stock that you should be trading on anywhere near more than just like a couple shares, just to do like the one share rule, as Fausto says. But otherwise, though, if you're looking to make like respectable actual income that you're happy with, then one share isn't going to do it for you, right? And I've probably a couple of our longtime students maybe laughing here on the back end listening to me because they know I'm right. They know I'm right with that. So there's a time and a place to play around, and there's a time and a place to practice. But if you're looking to make real, actual money, unless if you're trading this on like, hey, 500 shares, a couple hundred shares, then you're not going to be able to do that. And we'd rather you trade like a JFBR or hell, even that ONCS, the GCTK. So I'm going to put this on our list for any of our more level 4 or 5 traders out there. Definitely will make a move within like a 50-cent dollar move at least, going into the open, meaning 50-cent increments nonetheless. So, 16, 15 major levels for right now. Looks like it's playing off the whole numbers altogether pretty nicely, if anything. And that's just a loose observation. But yeah, GFAI I'll put back on our main list for any of our more skilled advanced traders here. Boyle, hey, if you're timid to trade GFAI and you're just watching that go up without you, the more you watch that go up without you, the more that you miss out on a trade like Boyle natural gas ETF. Now, for any of our longtime members and students here, you would know what I'm going to say right now on Boyle. If you have Bookmap, if you have level 4, whether it's the main version or the Thinkorswim version, then it gives you a great ability to follow this trade. Then you should look to try and follow it, really. But otherwise, if you don't have Bookmap, then it's going to be a lot more difficult to follow this, even though it looks like it has good volume, which it does, good spread, good liquidity, but it's just a lot tougher to track a specific iceberg level on this trade, like a designed resistance or support on this stock or on this ETF. So it's saying that, 342 going into the open, I could tell, at least from my level 3, the matrix here, this is a big level, big volume-based level, 342, 343. The combination of them should be a big resistance support going into the market open. And yeah, I'll put this on our watch list still, the Boyle. All right, cool. With this going up, I'd imagine cold natural gas ETF going down. I mean, very expensive, big spread on this. So obviously comparing the two, we're not going to trade it. UNG and Boyle go together. That's right. I always get that one mixed up. We're already trading Boyle. We don't need to really put the other one on here. All right, but we got Micron up big. What's going on with Micron? I mean, I didn't really see the news on this. I play ignorant to the news in pre-market often mornings, so pardon me for that. But I'm just checking the news right now from 6:53 Eastern this morning. Micron shares trading higher after competitor Samsung announced it would make cuts memory chip output. So I don't know the partnership affiliation between Micron and Samsung. You'll have to inform me on that. Perhaps I'll read up on that later this morning. But hey, I assume that it wasn't earnings based actually, because normally for a name brand company like Micron, they're normally like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we're not really in earnings season right now, right? So I'd figure that that wouldn't really be the case. So pretty interesting company specific news between Micron and Samsung. I don't think Samsung is publicly listed, are they? Maybe at least not on U.S. exchanges. It only shows Micron here, MU ticker. So, for right now, at least, hey, it ended up leading to a nice pop early in pre-market. The one thing I will mention on this trade, I called this out in pre-market. I didn't look up the level 4 for it just yet, but a key resistance, not only from this top. Let me actually go to the weekly graph for this one. Oh, this is good. I mean, you'd assume a big level like 65 would be strong, but it seems like a top around 6. 54-ish, a little bit above that, back from the end of, or back from midway of 18, then all across 22 into this year. But then otherwise, what caught my eye was this. Look at like the 3 or 4 weekly lows. These are larger down wicks here at the time. So to say that these are all pretty much around the same price, 65.86, 65.87, off by one singular penny on that, 66.11, and 65.90. So that one's off by 3 pennies on that. So, I'd say right around 65.90 to 66 is a key level should this look to pop higher. Going into the open, I'll definitely put this on our watch list, but that's the bigger of the two levels to kind of keep an eye on right there. All right, cool. All right, so folks, let's hop over to the loser side right now. I kind of replaced my energy drink with coffee this morning. Got a dry mouth already here, so pardon that. But let's just go from top to bottom across the loser side here. All right, YVR down big. It's cheap. I didn't really even mean to click on that. Don't have my price column up on this one. There we go. All right, so what goes up comes back down. Cold reversal of a boil right there. So down big. We can't short it. Also very pricey, so we're not going to really follow that as much. And then I'll tell you otherwise, hey, for any new students or members joining us here, especially those on social media, hearing me for the first time tagging for Fausto in the mornings, this might sound lazy, but I could just be very blunt and straightforward with you and tell you there's like not a whole lot on the loser side that looks too great. JD down over 3.5% at the lows, more within our price range, around $39, $40, I reckon. But, hey, if you're interested in a short, then this could be worth your while. The Tesla ETF is down big. So if anything, this was dropping off early this morning with the pre-market with the S&P, and then obviously with Tesla itself. So I'm not really too informative with what's going on with Tesla of late as much. So if there's anything over the weekend, obviously, perhaps this moving with the market or off its own news or on its own accord. But either way, I mean, if you're going to trade Tesla in this trading room here, you could do puts or calls on this here, but otherwise, TSLL is the single stock ETF. It's cheaper, it's more leverage, so it's going to give you that volatility and for the price. So that would be more worth watching to me than anything. And I don't mind kind of slipping this here on our main list, TSLL. Kind of same deal as Boyle, though, because it's an ETF. It's going to be a lot harder to track the liquidity for like a designed resistance or support on level 3. So if you have level 4, that's a different story. Bookmap, that is, whether it's the main version or that on Bookmap. All right, so hey, for all of us on social media, what I'm going to do right now is post my email address live here on social media, josh@ctutrading.com. I always like to do that at the end of the afternoon meetings when I host them each and every weekday here, but feel free to shoot me a quick email if there's any questions you have, any trades that you'd like to go over, or otherwise, if you wanted to join our live trading room, just go right to the little QR code right there on the top left it's showing. Chris C on YouTube right now asking about the stock, or perhaps the ETF maybe, TSLY. I'll take a look at that. Just one moment. Whoops. Yeah, ETF. Oh, this is another Tesla ETF, Chris. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, looks like it's like the short one, if anything. Or no, I apologize. It's the same one as TSLL, just a little less liquid though, right? So we want to trade liquidity. This is trading a lot so far, has a relatively good order book in terms of the spread, the sizes out there, on the order book right now. That translates to Bookmap level 4, of course. The one I would say, what is it, TSLS? When Tesla's dropping, this is the short one. This is the one that goes up, but this one's much less liquid, if anything. So, that's where I'm not as much of a fan of that. If there was one that was more liquid on the way up, then, I'd give it a look. But I appreciate you asking, though. Absolutely. All right, so for all of us inside our live trading room, I think that just about wraps it up. Let me just get one last look from Benzinga Pro, our scanners there. Just seeing if there's anything else looking good. I deleted one. Oh, shoot. All right, really quickly, right now, in the meantime, as I filibuster. How about that? JFBR is breaking back over 140, so I just wanted to show that briefly before we wrap up. And then with that, I'm checking my other Benzinga scan here on my other screen. COCP. I mean, hey, it's up over 13 to 14%. It's still hanging in there a bit. Just hopefully this makes a better move in terms of just overall direction, whether it pulls back lower towards 2 after the open, or if it really continues to pop from this built support from pre-market, albeit the chart's spotty, you could see like higher lows building. So, you know what? We don't have a huge list here. We're not like maxed out. I don't mind giving this at least a fair shake, a fair look, but it's going to go one of two ways in that regard. So we typically wait the first 3 to 5 minutes to see that confirmed direction. Wait to see this officially break over 220 here, if anything, or otherwise, if it breaks back under the VWAP, then maybe see it test 2, and then from there make the slingshot. But I don't mind giving this COCP. What is it? Co-Crystal Pharma. It's a pharma stock, so you know what we're going to say with that. It's a pop and drop, so don't look to try and swing trade this. Don't look to try and hold this stock at all. I mean, really, you could say the same for any of these trades that we're going to put on our watch list going into the open. All right. But I think that just about wraps it up right now. So for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc., I hope you folks enjoyed. I appreciate you folks sticking with myself here throughout this morning. I'll be tagging in for Fausto throughout this week. So he is on vacation with his family, well deserved. So with that, I know I'll be in for him this week in the mornings, as well as always the afternoon. And then also just stay tuned. We're actually going to do our introductory to trading webinar as we typically do each and every week. I'll be subbing in for Fausto. So obviously the same strategy that we're going to go over, but hey, a little bit of a different perspective perhaps this time. So stay tuned for that. I look forward to that. That'll be on Thursday this week. But for all of us though, otherwise, hey, best of luck trading going into the market open, and we'll be back live later on this afternoon, just at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Take care.